Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Wait a minute. I got to get this thing off the screen. Got it. Okay, we got it. All right. Hi, I'm Priscilla Costner,
I'm Tony.
and we're very happy to be with you all tonight. After 7 years of planning, we started this process in 2016, and we missed out 3 years ago, but here we are now with all of you and a lot of other people who met together on Sunday. We are very, very excited to get this trip going, get it off the ground, get it to Israel, and we're delighted that you're coming with us.
Yeah, I'm just waiting till St. Patrick's Day comes, because 3 years ago was about St. Patrick's Day. We looked at each other and said, this isn't going to work. A few days later, everything shut down. But here we are 3 years later, and it's going to happen.
Kathy,
I'm Michael Weiner. I'm Michael Weiner, and Kathy Davis Weiner is with me. We're co-hosting along with the customers. And I think I was the one who said, no, we can still go to Israel. It's okay. It's not going to close down. I feel like this is the third annual reunion of our 2020 trip. But we are also just thrilled that it's actually going to happen. And we've been planning this for, as Priscilla said, for like 5 years or more. And just seeing all your faces and all the excitement that we felt last Sunday, it's going to be a marvelous trip. And we're here to answer any questions that you may have. Caron is going to lay out all of the itinerary, what you should be expecting to happen, what you need to do, and we'll answer everything that needs to be answered tonight.
I'm Kathy, and one of the most exciting experiences that I have is watching all the people who have never been to Israel and the emotions, the sense of feeling like you're in your home, and the excitement. And it just goes to show, we were having dinner the other night and this family was next to us. And one of the people there was from our 60th Israel anniversary. And the daughter, who's, the woman is now in her 80s, she's still talking about that trip. And that's what we're going to have. We're going to have memories that will last forever. We'll have new friends, which is really wonderful. I could say that for Michael and I, there's many of you that we don't know, and we can't wait to get to spend time together and to get to know you. And that's one of the big pieces of this trip, is developing relationships. So here's to our first memory of our first orientation, and we will continue it on our trip. So thank you so much for participating. And this is the largest group that has ever gone to Israel from Portland. So you have made history. And for those of you who signed up in 2020, you've also made history for being so patient. So until we meet in another week and a half, I'd like to introduce Mark Blattner, our president and CEO of Jewish Federation of Greater Portland.
Thanks, Kathy, Michael, Priscilla, Tony. Hi, I'm Mark Blattner. I'm the president and CEO of the Jewish Federation here in Greater Portland. And yes, I'll just reiterate, the trip is here. We're leaving very soon. We can't wait to join you in Israel. We're glad you're joining us. We promise you a spectacular opportunity to see Israel, to experience Israel, to listen to Israelis, to understand Israel and what's going on today. And we're excited to have all of you participate with us. The most important person on this call is really Caron Blau-Rothstein, who I think all of you have communicated with at one point or another. She's going to run through all the details of the trip. All I'm going to ask is, while she's presenting, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and I will be trying to respond to them. And some of them will hold off and we'll answer in a general way, because it might be a big question for the whole group. But feel free to use the chat as much as you would like. And let me turn it over to Caron.
Hi, everybody. I'm aspirational. I'm not actually at the Dead Sea yet, but I'm so excited to go. I decided to give all of you and me a preview. And I just want to echo what everybody else has said before. I'm super excited to go with all of you. I'm super excited for all the newbies, the returnees, the young, old, the young at heart, everybody for this. So we're going to go through essentially what we did in person this past Sunday. We're going to go through materials that either you received in the mail or will receive soon in the mail, or that you'll receive in Israel. We're going to talk about some trip logistics, and we are going to answer your questions. So as Mark said, if you have questions that are really particular to you or generic, you can put them in the chat. We also will be happy to answer generic questions, I'm going to call them, during the Q&A at the end of this, when you can unmute yourself and raise your hand and ask a question. So away we go. Let's talk about trip swag. I'm waiting for my next slide. There we go. One more. Perfect. There we go. So when you get to Israel, if you weren't able to stop by our office, you're going to get one of these amazing Israel t-shirts. You do not have to wear it every day, but we will have an opportunity to take a group photo, and it's a little souvenir from our trip. So we'll be bringing those to Israel for those of you who aren't local to Portland and weren't able to pick them up or had someone pick them up for you. We'll also be providing some electrical outlet adapters. These will work when you charge your iPad, your Kindle, your phone. You attach them to your regular plug, and then they'll work in Israeli outlets. If you have something that's of higher intensity, like a hair dryer or an electric shaver, you would need an actual converter, because Israel is on 220 voltage, not 110 like America, but 220. But I will tell you that all the hotels have hair dryers, so feel free to leave that bulky equipment at home and just use these adapters for charging your phone and tablets. Luggage tags. Everybody was mailed their luggage tags, and I believe maybe their outlet adapters. These luggage tags are very important for you to put on your carry-on and checked luggage. We're using these so that our tour provider can identify people when we get to the airport, and you can identify each other if you're traveling together. A lot of you are flying together, even if it's not on one of the group flights, and we'd love for you to start that connection before you've even taxied down in Ben Gurion Airport. You also received, or will be receiving by mail, a briefing book, which we also sent an electronic copy of as well. This has the outline of the trip, the itinerary, fast facts about Israel, the different regions and places we're going. It has that packing list. If you're someone who likes to check things off, you can check things off that list. If you want to learn a little bit of Hebrew, there are some key Hebrew phrases. There are photos of our tour guides, the Federation staff, the hospitality staff that's joining us from Kenneth Tours. And please make sure that you pack this for the trip. This will be a great resource for you to keep in your knapsack every day to see where we're going. And it'll be a great keepsake of the experience that we had together. Next slide, please. So I know this is teeny tiny, but we're gonna talk about all these things. Very important. Make sure that your passport is with you on board your plane, not in checked luggage. I think most of us are taking a domestic leg and then our international leg of our trip. And so while you don't need it for the domestic, you're going to need it for your international travel. And if you've packed it in your luggage, you are out of luck for being able to travel internationally. So please make sure that your passport is with you in your carry-on luggage at all times. So we talked about transfers in the last couple of email updates. So if you are traveling outside of the group dates, if you haven't already contacted Kenneth Tours, I know Karen has been trying to reach people who are coming early. You can ask them for a transfer if you want their help assisting you, or you can use one of the suggested travel options that was outlined in the emails we've been sending. And there'll be another one going out tomorrow, which will have that information again about whether you want to take the train or you want to sign up for the Get app and get a taxi. That's as close as you get to Uber and Lyft in Israel. All very accessible, and there are certainly people at the airport to help you if you want to ask for help, if you need help when you get there. There will be Federation staff who will be traveling on the group flights. So they will be arriving at the airport with you. When you get to Israel, you will be entering passport control. And this is one of the most important things I can tell you. There's lots of important things we're going to talk about on this call, but one of the most important is instead of stamping your passport, Israel gives you a small entry visa slip. I suggest as soon as this call is over, you head to your passport with a paper clip and you put a paper clip in your passport. And when you get that visa slip, you paper clip it to your passport and keep this with you at all times in Israel. And if you're traveling on to the Petra extension, you need that entry slip to be able to leave Israel. It is as important as your passport. And when you arrive at the airport, there will be staff from Kennis Tours along with Federation staff. We'll be meeting people at the airport on the 20th and directing you to the tour buses to take you to our hotel in Tel Aviv, the David Intercontinental. When we get to the hotel, there'll be on-site coordinators from Kennis Tours who will help you with check-in. And this is very important. We start programming bright and early Tuesday morning. So we recommend that you get whatever rest you can on your flights and that you stay hydrated. It will really help you with the jet lag. And in terms of luggage, again, this is another reason why it's important to have those tags identifying our group on your luggage. Luggage will be transported between the hotels on your behalf, and it'll be important to follow the timing guidelines for having luggage outside your rooms, and we will remind you of those things daily. Next slide, please. Name tags. Your name tag will look a little fancier than this one, but your name tag is your ticket to entry to everything. It is a security issue. It is a safety issue. It is a help the staff on your bus know that you're there issue, and you must wear it at all times that we are doing group activities, that you're on the bus, all of that. During free time, you obviously don't need to wear your tag, but your tag will tell you what bus you're on, it'll tell you what track you're on, and it'll tell the staff that you belong with our group. And it's very important that those assignments that are on your name tag, those are your assignments. There is no bus swapping or track changes. We worked really hard to assign all 200 of you to the tracks. We did our best to accommodate everybody's first choice and to accommodate your requests to be with people that you wanted to be with. And so we ask that you honor that, because otherwise we might be waiting for somebody on a bus that decided to make a change without notifying anybody. And that would be a real problem and a real disservice to the other people on your bus. Next slide, please. So we know that there have been a lot of things in the news lately in regards to security. And we just want to reiterate to everybody that your safety and security is of our utmost concern. It's Kennis Tours' utmost concern. It's Israel's concern to make sure that those people who are visitors are safe and secure. We will have security with us as needed, and we will be monitoring security and things also as mundane as the weather to make sure that if there's an issue that arises with security, with weather, with traffic, with anything, that we modify our itinerary as needed. And so please rest assured that if there's a track that's scheduled to go somewhere that feels a little sketchy to you, we're not going to take anybody anywhere that isn't deemed safe by the tour operator and the authorities. In terms of COVID, we encourage people to bring tests, bring masks, bring hand sanitizer. It's not just good for COVID, but it's good for all the other germs out there. We encourage you to pre-flight test at home. And if you test positive while you're in Israel, rest assured that we are here to make sure that you get on the mend and that you have what you need to recover. And we ask that you contact either the Federation staff or the Kennis Tours staff first, so that we can make arrangements for you. Obviously, if it's an emergency, then you contact whomever is there. But we ask that rather than contacting the hotel staff first, that you contact our trip staff first, so that we can help you get what you need to get better. Now, fragrance, we have people with all sorts of allergies and sensitivities, and we are going to be spending a lot of time together on a bus, and we're looking for ways that we can be courteous and respectful of our neighbors and fellow travelers. And we do have some people who strong fragrances trigger migraines for them. So we ask you, if you're normally a 4 spritz perfumer or cologne wearer, that you take it a little bit easy on any strong scents for the trip, out of courtesy for your allergic busmates. Thank you. Next slide, please. So the dress for our trip is very casual. For those of you who live in Portland, it is absolutely 110% Portland casual. Friday evening, we'd love it if everyone would dress up a little bit for Shabbat. It's a good opportunity. It's also an opportunity for some more, not an opportunity, rather, a necessity for a little bit more modest dress over the knee and the arm covering. And there's a couple of people who have tracks where that may be advisable as well. And our day where we are in the old city of Jerusalem. But the best advice that I got is think of yourself as a metaphorical onion and dress in layers. The mornings can be chilly. And as the day moves on, it can get warmer. Our buses will be thoroughly and intensively air conditioned. So if you're someone who gets cold in air conditioning, it's always good also to have a little jacket. Sun protection is really important. We are going to the desert and it is hot. Even though it is spring there, the sun is more intense, and we encourage people to have hats, sunscreen. There will be water provided on the bus every day. So just make yourself aware of that and take as many bottles as you need. Recommend that you have, back to the passport issue, a copy of your main passport page, a photo of it in your phone, and also a hard copy some other place than where you're carrying your passport. So in case there's an issue or you misplace it, we have a copy of that to help you make other arrangements. For people traveling with medicine, if you have prescription medicine, it's always good to have a copy of your prescription with you. And we recommend that you keep all your medicines and any other vital materials that you wouldn't want delayed in any way in your carry-on luggage. I also always travel with a spare change of clothes in my carry-on luggage, so that in case something happens, I've got an extra change of clothes. If I get delayed or anything like that. So that's important. Just one note, I see that some people are sending questions in the chat. If you're sending them directly to me, I can't answer them because I'm doing the talk. So you can either send them to Mark as a direct message, or you can send them to everyone. And just a final reminder, I can't say this enough about the water. Stay hydrated. It really helps with jet lag and lots of other things. Next slide, please. So I know that people have been reading the emails and hearing about WhatsApp. WhatsApp is not only an Israeli invention, it is the way to text and call with your family back home, and it is the way that we're going to communicate with each other on this trip. So however you gain cell phone coverage in Israel, whether you're staying with your American cell phone provider and doing an international plan, whether you're getting an Israeli SIM card, however you're doing it, we're going to be using WhatsApp, and we strongly encourage you to download this application either on your iPhone or your Android-based phone and practice it in advance. Basically, instead of pressing the text function on your phone now, you would press the WhatsApp function. But in order to message somebody, the people that you want to communicate with back home, they would also have to download the WhatsApp application so that you can communicate. It works over the internet instead of over the phone service, and there will be Wi-Fi on our buses and in the hotels and in the city of Tel Aviv. So if you don't want to have an international plan on your phone, you can keep your phone in airplane mode and just turn on the Wi-Fi, and that'll connect you wherever we are. But as I said, we're going to be communicating by buses with this. If you're running late, and we need to get a hold of you, we need to know that we have a way to communicate with you with WhatsApp. So please practice. If you don't know how to deal with it, I always say, ask a kid, ask a grandkid. That's what they're there for, in addition to being adorable and wonderful. So as I just mentioned, our tour buses will have internet and the hotels. And so you will have that option to use that again if you don't get international phone service. Next slide, please. I also know that we have many avid amateur photographers joining us, and we want to be able to share with one another the best of your photographs. And so we have a Google photo album that we've created, and we'll send this reminder again at the conclusion of the trip. And we're going to ask you to share your best and brightest photos, up to 25 of the trip, so that we can create a shared album for everyone to enjoy. And we thank you in advance for sharing your beautiful photos with us. And if you're someone who likes to chronicle your trip on social media while we're gone, please use the hashtag PDX Israel 2023 and tag the Federation. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it and just enjoy. But if you're someone who likes to share on social media, we would love for you to share. And if you could just let people know that you're with the Jewish Federation, that would be terrific. And if you use that hashtag, then we'll be able to follow all the posts that are connected to that. And if you could go to the next slide, please. So since we're not all together in person, I did just want to give everyone a chance to see the smiling, amazing faces of my colleagues who will be joining us in Israel. Every bus will have 2 Federation professionals on the bus, along with a tour guide and a bus driver. And these are the people that you will go to if you have questions. Obviously, the tour guide is your expert when it comes to all things Israel, history, and all of those things. And the Federation staff are there to troubleshoot any issues for you. There will also be on-site coordinators based in the hotel from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. from Kenneth Tours. You'll have photos of those people with their names, along with this staff page in your trip booklet. And we have 2 Federation staff who will be staying stateside here in Portland. So if any issues crop up and you need to contact the office, they'll be available as well. Next slide, please. So that brings us to the end of the formal presentation. If I can just, I think you can take down the slides now. We'll go into questions in a moment. But I just want to say to everybody that this is going to be a great trip. It's a long time in coming, and I promise you it was worth the wait. Every day I look at the itinerary of something else that we're doing and getting ready for you, and I get excited about the places that we're going to go. And we're so glad that we could be together. And I'm ready to answer any more questions that anybody has. Mark, did you make your way through the questions in the chat, or do we have any that we want to say out loud?
So I just want to, I think I've answered all the questions that have come through, but there's one thing I just want to reiterate is when you arrive, if you're on the main group flights, Caron, can you identify which ones are the main group flights?
So we have flights arriving in the it's everybody who's arriving between 2:30 in the afternoon. There's a United flight. And 6:30 p.m. And some people are on other flights, but flights that are arriving basically between 2 and 6:30 p.m. are being met by buses. There's 3 groups. There's a 2:30 p.m. cluster, a 4-ish p.m. cluster, and then the 6:30 p.m. cluster. So there's 3 groups of buses.
Okay. So the key is that when you arrive, no matter what time you arrive, if you're on one of those, that timing that Caron just mentioned, or even when you arrive on your own, if you're getting there earlier, et cetera, they asked in the last session to kind of walk through what happens when you get off the plane, since many people are first timers. Your plane will land and you'll follow everybody on your way to passport control. It's a very long walk down a slanted hallway at Ben Gurion Airport, and you go down to the end, and what you'll see is a big mass of people all waiting for these little booths of the passport control. When you get to the other side of passport control, before you get to where baggage claim is, that's where you're going to get that little blue sheet of paper for your visa. As Caron said, it is very important for you to keep it. Bring a paper clip with you, paper clip it into your passport so you have it, but hold on to that little blue sheet of paper. You'll then go through a little, whatever the machine is where they open up the gates and you walk through, and you'll be in baggage claim. There are free carts everywhere. There's no need to pay for a cart. So if you want to grab a cart, they are free. You'll go into the baggage claim, look for where your airplane is coming in. If you're on those flights on Monday that arrive between 2:30 and 6:30 p.m., you will see signs from Kenneth Tours. It'll say Portland in big letters. You won't miss them. Okay, you will see them, and you'll also see people on your plane, and you'll get your baggage, and you'll walk out of the baggage claim area with everybody. You'll go as a group. You'll go straight into the arrivals hall. And then you're going to turn right at the arrivals hall. When you turn right, you'll see a coffee shop there. It's a long coffee shop. It's not enclosed. It's like a kiosk, but it's a long kiosk. And they'll have you probably wait there until everybody's accounted for, and then they'll walk you to the buses, because the buses are in that door to the right. And then once you get on the buses, you'll be on your way to the hotel. You'll get your name tagged there, etc. So that's how it will work. It's very simple, and you shouldn't have any problems.
So just to clarify with the buses, we understand that not everybody booked their flights through World Express, or they're on a flight that isn't one of the designated flights, but arrives at a similar time. You all by now should have submitted your arrival times to Karen Hotkevitz at Kenneth Tours, and she's using that list to determine if you're able to go on one of the group buses. So Patty, you wrote you're arriving at 6:35 on a flight from London. That's within the group arrival time. So you should absolutely be able to go. But it's just, and let me just stress, if you haven't checked your inbox lately or your spam folder, please do that also when you get off this call. That's now 2 things you need to do. Get a paper clip for your passport and check your inbox and your spam folder. And if you have an email waiting for you from Karen that needs an answer, please do that as soon as possible. She can only coordinate this if she has the information. There's been some confusion for some people. We're departing America on one calendar day, and you're arriving in Israel on another calendar day because of the 10-hour time difference and the long duration of the flight. So some people have been giving her their departure day. She needs your arrival day. So please make sure that she has that information. Please make sure that you have that information correctly so that you're at your airport for your flight on the right day and time, and that we're there to meet you. So just to reiterate also, people who were sent materials were sent their trip booklet, their luggage tags, and their adapters. The only thing that wasn't sent in the mail were the t-shirts. It's just a little too bulky. So we'll be bringing them in our luggage to Israel.
I just want to add one other thing. There was a question about flying on El Al Airlines. I know many people are flying, whether it's through Los Angeles or New York or from some other location. El Al has different security than United Airlines does. So 2 things. Let's do the El Al. For those of you who are flying on El Al, you're going to fly most likely down to Los Angeles, or if you're in London, you'll do it in London. Please be at the gate extra early for El Al. Okay, I would say probably 90 minutes before your flight, because you're going to be going through security again, and they'll ask you questions, etc. Maybe even 2 hours in advance. I know many people have long layovers on their way over, but get there. I would walk over to the international terminal, and I would go through the security at El Al, because it does take time, and it's a very serious questioning period. For those of you flying United Airlines, what will happen is you'll transfer at whatever airport you're going through. Many people are flying through San Francisco. I would encourage you to be at the gate an hour early, because you do go through a security check there. They open your bags, they do the wand thing on you to make sure that everything is okay. So you should just make sure you're in time, you're early enough, and you shouldn't have any problems.
So there was a question. Oh, sorry.
No, Karan, you can answer some of the.
Okay,
of the
so there was a
questions.
question about free time. So you will see in your trip booklet that there are pockets of time that are designated as free time, where either, for example, the first night, not Monday night, rather Tuesday night, the first day after the first day of programming, it's an optional night where we're going to have some dinner reservations, and you're welcome to join other people from the trip, or if you have friends or family in the area and want to dine with them, you're welcome to do that. There's a pocket of time in Jerusalem that's already scheduled. So there are some times here and there where you have dinner on your own, or a few hours on your own for shopping, visiting, etc. Outside of those times, if you decide that you want to take a break from the group because there's family you want to see, or you're just not feeling up to a portion of the day, that is 100% okay. However, we must have you communicate with your bus staff. They have to know, because they're going to be counting everybody off attendance in the morning. They can't leave if you're not on the bus and they don't know that you're not going to be with us. So let us know the night before, let us know 2 days before. I've already had somebody tell me that there's 2 days that they're going to be doing some other things for a few of the hours. That's 100% okay. But your trip staff, your bus staff needs to know that, so that they're not worrying and waiting for you. And on that note, I want to stress to everybody, I made a joke at the beginning when people were signing on that if you're not early, you're late. We are scheduled every day for our buses to depart at 8:30. This means that you need to have had breakfast. If you eat breakfast, if you like to work out, if you are a morning shower person, a morning meditation person, whatever it is that you need to do to get yourself ready in the morning, you need to do all of that in advance of 8:30. You need to come prepared and be ready at 8:30. To board your bus with your knapsack, with your hat, with your sunscreen, with your whatever it is that you need for the day, to have that with you. And each night you will receive under your door a little newsletter update. If you've ever been on a cruise, those of you who remember those, they slip them under your door at night or put them on your pillow. We're not going to be doing any cool towel decor for you. I'm sorry. But we will have an update that will have some last minute reminders for the following day. Like if you're on a track that requires your driver's license for the ATV, or if you're going to be digging for a day in Jerusalem, that you have proper sort of scrubby clothes to wear that'll get dusty. Those reminders will be there. And also every day in the lobby, there will be a hospitality desk with on-site coordinators from Kenneth Tours from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So if you want help making your own dinner reservation, if you are looking for something outside of the trip, if you want a suggestion for where's a good place to buy a certain piece of Judaica that someone asked you to bring home, these are your people to help you with those questions. And there'll also be any announcements posted at their station as well. So that's a great place to walk by on your way to retire to your room for the evening. And you should definitely check in with them if you have any questions. They're there to service our group. They're there for just our group. And so again, if you need help with something that you weren't helped with in advance, I know some people are worried about taxis and things like that. I can assure you that all those things can be handled on the ground when we get to Israel, not a problem. And I see a question about Yad Vashem. We do have youth counselors that will be available for children under 10 who cannot enter Yad Vashem, and for a couple of other times when we have some more adult-oriented programming that may be less entertaining for our younger set, and we will have a youth counselor available to be with those children. And so people who want to go to Yad Vashem can go, or they can join their children at the Biblical Zoo. Other questions? If anybody wants to unmute and ask a question. Oh, Priscilla, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to come back to the little blue slip and shopping, as you mentioned. People will be shopping. In order to receive the VAT back, you need that blue slip. So it's not just a matter of getting you in and out of the country. It's a matter also of getting anything that's due back to you, money due back to you, if when you're about to leave Israel. And so that's important to know.
They have all the receipts too.
And keep your receipts when you shop.
And while you're taking a picture of your passport, it's probably also helpful to take a picture of the blue slip.
Great advice.
Can I ask a question?
Please.
Because I can't, for some reason, I can't see us. So if you're coming early, like we're coming a day early, and we have the VIP to get through passport control, can you tell us how that works?
Yes, so if you signed up for the VIP transfer, what will happen is someone will be at the airport waiting for you with a sign. It depends on which transfer you picked. There was 2 options. If you pick the higher level transfer, literally as you walk off the plane on the jetway, somebody will be standing there with a sign with your name on it, which is I think what most people did if they chose that option. Otherwise, they will see you as you are walking down to passport control. But in most cases, they'll see you right when you get off the plane.
Thank
You will
you.
not miss them.
Thank you.
Other questions?
For people that are coming in outside of the group time, or if we're coming in a day early, we go to the hotel and then what happens? We just check in? And how do we get our name tag?
You'll get your name tag the next day. When the on-site coordinators start staffing the table. They won't be there early. They'll be there on the 20th when the official trip starts.
Thank you.
So you can enjoy being anonymous for one whole day before everybody knows who you are and who you belong to.
I just want to add one other thing is that if you do get there early, you should have no problems checking into the hotel. They'll check you in. But yes, everything should be starting probably around noontime. The coordinators will probably be in the lobby of the David Intercontinental for people, but check in at that hotel on that Monday's not till 3 p.m. But there should be somebody in the lobby waiting to say hello, and they'll have name tags and answer any questions. Somebody asked about laundry service. There is laundry service available at 2 of the 3 hotels that we'll be at, in the hotel in Tel Aviv, the hotel in Jerusalem. It's very expensive because they charge you per item. However, there are laundry services that are available that if you talk to the coordinators and you say, look, can we do laundry? It's very possible that they will be able to say, bring down your laundry, you hand it to them, they'll give it to the laundry person, and when you get back in that evening, your laundry could be returned to you. The hard part is we're going to Jerusalem on a Friday, so that really means probably laundry is not going to be able to go out until Sunday. So at that point, it's only a couple more days before you go home unless you're going to Jordan. But there is laundry service available, and the coordinators can be helpful in that regard.
Hi, we're not going to be back in the Portland area until later in the day on the 15th. And I want to make sure if we stop by the Federation office sometime on the 16th, will people be there so we can pick up our swag bags and everything?
Yes. We just ask that you give a quick call just so we can have your stuff ready. If you can call that day, the
Okay.
main office line, that way, just to make sure that we have all your stuff at hand. But I will let Julie know that you're going to be coming in on the 16th.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Crone, do you want to answer the question in the chat? The last one about things
Sorry.
shutting down on Shabbat.
So we're going to be in Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the holy city, and it is a magical place to be for Shabbat because so much of it shuts down. There's no public bus service. Restaurants are by and large closed. We're right next to something called the Mamilla Mall, which is this great pedestrian mall with restaurants and shops that will be closed for 25 hours over Shabbat. We will be enjoying Shabbat dinner in the hotel together. It's why for anybody who's not going to Masada and the Dead Sea, but is going to be in Jerusalem during the day on Shabbat, we need to know, because you're going to need to have lunch at the hotel unless you're having lunch with family or friends, because you can't just go out to a restaurant. If you were in Tel Aviv, Saturday Shabbat is a very vibrant, fun day where people are in cafes. It's a very different experience. It almost feels like any other city, but there's really something special about the quiet and beauty of Shabbat in Jerusalem. So we'll get a chance to see that Friday night and Saturday afternoon.
And just to add, most people on the trip, the vast majority are going to Masada and Dead Sea on Saturday. So you won't really be in Jerusalem, but then things will open up after Havdalah and the city kind of comes alive, but we'll have dinner for you available. But if you want to go out to dinner on your own, or we also have 2 options of a night at the Tower of David Museum or the Western Wall Tunnels, which people had signed up for already.
So with the free times, will we know what time we're coming back? For instance, on Tuesday, we have certain things we're doing, and then it says group dinners. So I wasn't sure, does that mean that we can go on a group dinners, or we could come back and immediately go do something that we wanted to do? But we wouldn't know the times until we get there. I'm curious.
Karan, do you want me to answer? You want to answer?
I was just gonna say, part of it depends on traffic. So
Right.
giving you an exact time would set us up for disappointment. This is not a time to bring your Vegas gambling skills with you,
Right.
because it would be frustrating. There will be dinner reservations at specified times, but with the understanding that we'll be back in time for people to, for example, go to their hotel room and freshen up. I think that the dinner reservation is probably around 7:30. So I would say that it's hard to tell you an exact time because, you know, we don't know exactly when things will go. And part of that depends on what I said earlier, which is you got to show up on time so we can get moving on time. And every time we leave the bus. Oh, the other thing, there are no bathrooms on the bus. I know that's a very random thing for me to say right now, but I'm just going to say it right now, because one of the things we have to wait for is when there is a bathroom stop, we need to wait for everybody to get back onto the bus. So for all those times, just be considerate of your fellow travelers. And so that's the best, Naomi, that I can tell you right now, is that we'll have approximate times for everything, but we won't be able to get it down to the, you know, to the minute, just because it's a busy country.
So in Jerusalem, that another free time question. In Jerusalem, it looked like we had some time on a Sunday.
Correct.
Right. So is that like an afternoon time? Is that what that was?
It is. It'll be mid to late afternoon. Yes. And as
Oh, okay.
and we'll get to know things more as the day plays out.
Oh, okay,
You'll get
'cause
a better sense.
Yeah, I was thinking of using that time to go see the Chagall windows. So I wanted, so whatever I wanted to see, I can just take a taxi. There's taxis in both cities.
Absolutely. And we recommend, again, if you're comfortable on your smartphone and you've ever used Uber or Lyft on your smartphone, to download the Get app.
I already did it, yeah.
GETT, add a payment form on there, and you can call a taxi and you don't need to worry about paying them or anything like that, because it'll all go through the app. It makes it really easy. And but yes, the on-site coordinators can help with that as well.
Just to reiterate, everything that Karan is sharing today is in the information book. Okay, everything is in there.
Thank you.
One other thing that go ahead,
sorry.
Naomi. Go ahead.
No, the other thing was that my roommate wanted to know if we're going to Petra, is that last evening in Jerusalem, is that a free time?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You
I'll let her
have
know.
time to yourself. You know, once the trip concludes, you'll get some specific directions about having your luggage ready and all of that. But you have some time for yourself before you begin your adventure the following morning.
Okay, I'll let her know. Thank you.
And
Speaking
one
of
thing,
that, I'm sorry,
yeah.
I haven't looked at the itinerary. I just got the material today in the mail. What time are we back in Jerusalem from Wadi Rum or whichever place in Jordan we're returning from?
It is late afternoon on Friday.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
There's plenty of time. It's probably about 6 o'clock to get to the hotel in Jerusalem, maybe a little earlier. And then people will be in Tel Aviv between 7 and 8 to go to the airport and drop off anybody else who needs to be dropped off there.
Okay. Thank you.
So many people are leaving on midnight or overnight flights, either on the Tuesday, or if you're coming back from Petra on the Friday, you know, it's like a 1 a.m. flight the following day, which is, so you'll get to the airport, I believe 3 hours in advance of your departure. You'll have plenty of time to go through security and all that. The buses will make sure that you have enough time to get through security and check in.
And we'll also stagger the buses in case people have an 11:55 p.m. flight versus the people of the 1 a.m. flight. So we'll make sure people get on the right buses. to get to the airport in plenty of time, because I will tell you, it gets very chaotic at Ben Gurion Airport as people are waiting in line, and the heavy security, because it's much heavier security than what you have in the United States. So just in general, no matter which airline you're flying out on.
And it is very busy overnight. It's not like America where it gets quieter overnight. Overnight is the hopping time. So restaurants will be open, shops will be open. If there's someone you forgot to buy a souvenir for, never fear. Ben Gurion Airport is there for you. They have some lovely places to buy tchotchkes if you need something at the last minute. I want to say one thing before I take any more questions. A lot of us know each other and a lot of us don't know each other. And this trip is a great opportunity to strengthen and grow our community connections and ties with one another. And so I encourage you, when you're on your bus, it's so much fun to be with people that we know and to be making this memory with our friends, but it's also wonderful to get to know other people. So I encourage you to sit next to different people, sign up to go to one of these group dinners with people that you don't know, and then you will know them, and you'll have, as Kathy and Michael and Priscilla and Tony said, you'll have 200 new friends by the time you finish this experience. And so I know not everybody's a natural extrovert. If you wouldn't believe it, I'm not one either, but I love the idea of talking to my seatmates, and if I'm on a track, you know, you'll be with different people on your track than you're with on your regular bus, to just, you know, maybe go a little outside your comfort zone and say hello or ask somebody what they thought of that. It's a really great opportunity to really get to know people in our community. I've had the good fortune of getting to talk to so many of you over the last few months, and I look forward to you all meeting each other. You're 200 fabulous people. I'm just going to say that now. Everybody on this trip is fabulous. So you're going to have a lot of fun getting to know each other. Other questions or comments, either in the chat or that you want to unmute and ask? If you have any questions that are specific to your itinerary, I will put my number in the chat and you can give me a call tomorrow or Friday or early next week. I will be traveling, God willing, next Wednesday to help get everything ready for all of you and greet you. But I'm available, and tomorrow an email will go out to everybody with a copy of this recording. It will also have Mark's and my cell phone numbers on there, so that if, as you're traveling, you need to reach us, you can send us a message through WhatsApp. We'll both be in Israel early, as will Kathy and Michael and Tony and Priscilla. So
I have a question.
yes.
My question is, how many, I've never been to Israel. If I want to enjoy myself and buy stuff to bring back, how many shekels should I take?
Oh, great question about money. So number one is credit cards are taken everywhere in Israel. Okay, even if you're buying a $3 can of soda, you can use your credit card. But what we would recommend is, instead of bringing shekels with you, it is much easier to use an ATM machine in Israel to get shekels out. Now, I don't know what the fee may be at your local bank or what have you, but you'll get the exchange rate as it is internationally versus, you know, paying, getting a lesser exchange rate at the bank here, or if you do a service in Israel. So we encourage people to bring cash, not a lot of it. But just, you can just know that if you buy something in dollars, let's say you have $100 bill and you buy something that's $20, you will get the equivalent of $80 back in shekels according to that person. Okay, it's not necessarily exact to the exchange rate. So bring some money, use the bank machines, use your credit card everywhere. It's probably the easiest way to do it.
Thank you very much.
I have a question that has to do with the itineraries. Karan, you might have answered this, but where there were first and second choices, when will we be informed of which one we have?
You will have that information when you arrive in Israel. If you're concerned that you might need to bring some sort of equipment, because excuse me, that's not the right thing to say. if you're like on the active day where you'd be biking in the banyas or things like that, if that was your first choice, I would say that I think everybody got their first choice. But if you need to know, because you need to know for your packing, please feel free to call me tomorrow and I'll let you know. But otherwise, everyone will get that assignment officially on their card, because part of it is that some of the tracks have more than one bus because of the demand. We really worked hard to accommodate everybody's first choice. So we switched some buses around so we could do that. So that's why you'll hear when you get in Israel. But if you need that help for your packing, you certainly can send me a note and I will check for you. Priscilla and Tony, you've been waiting patiently with your virtual hands.
Well, okay, there's that wonderful hand that waves. Just from us, and I know I speak for Kathy and Michael, this has been a long preparation. And for those of you who are coming on the trip, we can't say enough about Mark and Caron, about the fabulous job that they have done. And it wasn't just this year or last year, it goes back 7 years, 6 years, 5, and so on, as we've been working at this. Be sure to tell them how much you appreciate it when you see them. And we'll be waiting at the airport for you. Just, look for these shirts and look for crazy people waving like this, okay? That you're finally joining us there in Israel. And we're just tremendously excited. And we know this is going to be a terrific trip. So before we all sign out, because I can tell we're kind of getting tired here, Caron and Mark, terrific, and the rest of the staff as well. You'll get to meet them all.
Well, thank you, everybody. I need a last call for questions. I'm going to put my phone number in the chat in case anybody needs to reach me. And again, let me just stress, sometimes our emails go to your junk folder or your spam folder. They come from pdxisrael@jewishportland.org. If you haven't put us in your address book in your email, that may be the issue. But I believe that everybody is signed up for our emails. At least one person in the household should be getting those emails. And if you have any problems, you have my direct phone number there and my email, and I can check for you. And I'm happy to be of assistance, as is the rest of our staff. And Tony and Priscilla and Kathy and Michael have been fabulous leaders and inspirations. This is my first time coordinating a trip like this, and I've learned from and with the best. So thank you all, and have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you in Israel. Safe travels, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Caron. Great job.
Thank you.
It was wonderful. Thank you so
I'm
much.
looking forward to it. It's my first trip, so I'm really excited.
Awesome, Randy. We'll see you guys soon.
We're excited.
Bye.
Thank you.